In a world that often measures worth by external achievements, appearance, or status, often promotes self-doubt, comparison, and insecurity. The message of Psalm chapter 139 verse 13 and 14 offers a counter-narrative. It tells us that our worth comes from being created by God, who has carefully designed each one of us with love and purpose. This realization can be a source of deep comfort and peace. No matter what the world says about us or what challenges we face, we can rest in the knowledge that we are fearfully and wonderfully made by a God who knows us fully and loves us unconditionally. Psalm chapter 139 verse 13 and 14. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. This passage, though only 2 verses long, is profound in its depth and meaning. It communicates several theological, existential, and personal insights about the relationship between humanity and God, the nature of life, and the dignity inherent in every person. The passage touches on themes such as divine intimacy, the sanctity of life, human uniqueness, and our relationship with God, while evoking the intricacies of creation. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. This verse points to God's intimate involvement in the very act of creation. It reflects the belief that human life is not accidental or random, but divinely crafted with purpose and precision. Inmost being can be understood as referring to both the physical and spiritual essence of a person, the heart, soul, mind, and body. The term points to the deepest aspects of our existence, suggesting that God knows us in ways no one else can. He is not a distant creator, working on the surface level. He creates and knows the tiniest details of our existence. God's creation here is portrayed as intimate and personal. In a broader sense, the Bible often describes God's creation of the world as a powerful cosmic event. Example, in Genesis 1, God speaks, and the universe comes into being. However, in this psalm, God is shown to be intricately involved in the creation of a single individual, with loving attention to detail. You knit me together implies that the formation of life is a process overseen directly by God. The metaphor of knitting suggests care, attention to detail, and intentionality, as each strand of our being is woven together by the Creator. It emphasizes that God is not a detached deity, but one deeply engaged in the formation of each individual. The phrase, "in my mother's womb," adds further significance to this passage. It emphasizes that God's creative activity begins long before we are born. Even before we are aware of ourselves, and before the world knows us, God is already involved in our lives. This reflects the theological belief in God's foreknowledge and sovereignty. He knows and plans our lives even from the moment of conception. The reference to the womb also carries cultural and theological weight. In ancient Hebrew culture, the womb was seen as a sacred place, a hidden and protected space where life begins. The psalmist points to this mysterious and private aspect of creation to show that life is a gift from God, who oversees and nurtures its development even in the earliest stages. The word fearfully is key to understanding this verse. It comes from the Hebrew word yer, which in this context means with great reverence, or in awe. The idea is not that we are made with fear in the sense of terror, but rather that the process of human creation is so intricate and marvelous that it evokes reverence. It reflects the sacredness of life as something that should be approached with a sense of awe. Human beings are created with such complexity and beauty that it should inspire reverence, not just for the human body, but for the Creator behind it. There's a sense of holy fear, a recognition that God's creative power is beyond human comprehension. This verse underscores the biblical teaching that human beings are made in the image of God. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Because of this divine craftsmanship, every person possesses inherent dignity, value, and worth. This challenges a world that often judges people based on superficial criteria, reminding us that each life is precious to God, regardless of external factors. The word wonderfully comes from the Hebrew word pala, which can mean extraordinary or distinguished. To be wonderfully made means that human life is not ordinary, it is extraordinary in its complexity, design, and purpose. Each person is a reflection of God's creativity and skill, not just in their physical makeup, but in their soul and spirit. This phrase can inspire a deep sense of value and worth, as it affirms that every human life is purposefully and lovingly made by God. The psalmist transitions from focusing on his own creation to a broader recognition of God's works in general. God's works include not only the creation of humanity, but the entire universe. The psalmist recognizes that everything God creates is a reflection of his perfection, beauty, and goodness. The word wonderful here conveys both beauty and awe-inspiring quality. It suggests that God's works are beyond human comprehension, filled with wisdom and precision that humans can only marvel at. This is not a speculative or uncertain statement, but a declaration of something the psalmist has come to understand deeply and personally. The phrase, full well, implies a sense of complete assurance and certainty. The psalmist is convinced of the truth of God's wonderful works, which brings peace and comfort. This also implies that the psalmist has seen and experienced God's wonderful works throughout their life. It's not just an intellectual understanding, but a personal, lived experience of God's creative power, care, and involvement in their life. In conclusion, Psalm chapter 139, verse 13 and 14 offers a rich and powerful reflection on God's creative involvement in human life. Through the imagery of knitting, the psalmist paints a picture of God as an intimate and loving creator, carefully crafting each person with purpose and care. These verses call us to recognize the sanctity and uniqueness of life, to stand in awe of God's works, and to respond with praise, gratitude, and a commitment to treat others with dignity. In a world that often questions the value and meaning of life, these verses offer a profound affirmation. Each person is fearfully and wonderfully made by the hands of a loving Creator. Thanks a ton for tuning in. I really appreciate your time and support. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome content. Your feedback and encouragement keep me going. Catch you in the next one.